So I found something really neat, and I want to write it down, copy it down, record it, whatever. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. It says, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and run with patience the race set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Okay, so the more I think about this, the more that I have changed how I've looked at that for 17 years. It's absolutely amazing. When Maggie on her own thinks about author and finisher without doing any research, I think author, someone who creates, finisher, someone who ends it. And I've used that. Well, he's the author and finisher of my faith, so therefore he created this, so he will go into completion. And I'm like, yeah, that's biblical. But when we do a little bit more research, we see that that's not exactly what he's talking about here. What I was thinking wasn't wrong, it just wasn't where he was trying to go with it. And that is the whole point of this. So I'm going to take you on two little paths here, and they go together very, very nicely. When I used to run, oh my goodness, it was so amazing. And people who don't run, they don't understand the joy that comes with it and how wonderful it feels afterwards. And I miss it because it's been a few years, and I know I'm not in any shape and I don't have the routine anymore to do so, but I miss how it felt. Okay, so when you're going on a run, you always start kind of jerky and awkward, and then you get going. No matter how many times you've done this before, you're looking for reasons to stop or to slow down, because you really don't want to. You know that you're going to get something good if you keep going, but you need to push past all of that to get to the time when you're in sync with your body and you're a well-oiled machine who's working at premium efficiency. During this time, nothing distracts you from your finish line, your end goal. When you finish a really good run, you feel great, strong, victorious, and energized. When you're starting a run, you have to push past the fleshly thoughts and distractions to get to the place of great efficiency. And you know that if you just keep pushing and you keep going past it, you're going to get to that spot that you really want to be at. So how do we do that in our faith? Well, as a teacher, we use the I do, we do, you do method to teach concepts. It's very effective. I show them how to do something, then we do something similar together multiple times while I'm guiding and instructing them along the way. When they're used to the idea and how to do it, and when they're ready, they must apply their skills they've learned and been taught on their own. So it's like a test time. I think it's always good to use your notes. Sometimes some teachers make you have it memorized, but I feel use all the resources provided. I believe God does the same thing. That's why we don't have to have the Bible memorized. Helps us a lot, but we can also pick it up and look at it again and again and again and again. What do you remember? So when I'm in a test and I don't get to use my notes, I go brain. I have a brain freeze and I forget everything. I go brain numb, okay? And then it slowly comes back to me. If I've practiced it a lot and have a firm understanding, it comes back to me a lot quicker. In the we do method, we have to look back a lot at the example and guidance and the steps. So when you're practicing this, okay, you're watching, and then you watch them do it, and then you do it together, and you're constantly going back and you're constantly looking at the example. And this one example, you're just going through it and through it and through it. Okay, let's try another example that's very, very similar, because you want to get the steps down. Then when it comes to the I do part, the problem could be very, very different, but you have to follow the steps the exact same way. Okay, so we must follow the steps closely to get the correct answer. When we skip steps, we can easily be led astray and get the wrong answer. we have to then start over at the beginning and go through the problem again, ensuring that we follow and adhere to the instructions as closely as possible. We have to have many problems that must be worked through in order to prove mastery of the concept. So we don't just get one, fail, you're done. So if you're teaching something, you have to show that in different situations, you're going to follow the steps in the same way. So Jesus is the author, our predecessor. To proceed means to yield before surrender, or to surrender. We must surrender our ideas, thoughts, desires, and follow his steps. The word finisher is only used once in the Bible, in Hebrews 12:2. It means perfecter. He perfected the way through the problem. We must surrender our own ideas of how to go through this and yield to him how to go, and yield to him to stop, to recognize, to adjust what he wants us to do. So if you look back at the run, at the beginning, you start because you know that this is good for you. And then you get going and you're like, oh, this is terrible. I don't want to do this anymore. Oh my goodness, where can I stop? Where can I stop? And a lot of people stop because it's no fun at that point. But the people who have been down this road and have a lot of faith that things are going to get better, they keep pushing past. Okay, so lay aside every weight and the sin which easily beset us. So they have to push past all the distractions, all the things that can easily get us to stop. When you stop, you're just like, oh man, now I don't get the good stuff at the end. And so it's really important to think of our faith like a good long run. And if you don't like running, it's very hard to understand this, but there is a joy, there is an energy that comes from it, and then you just feel so good. The author, the finisher of our faith. Author means the one who went before us, the perfecter of our faith. Okay, so he went through and he completed the whole thing. He's the I do in the teaching method. He shows you exactly how to do it. And then we go through these small steps when we become a Christian. And we go through it slowly, and then whoop, there's a test. Let's see how much we know. And then maybe we go back and we try it again, and we go slowly, whoop, there's a test. Okay? And I think the tests get harder as we get going in our walk because, well, we're ready for it. And those tests are not easy. They take a long time. And then you're exhausted afterwards, just like you do in school. But if you think about it, afterwards, you're like, you know what? I did my best. That's all I can ever ask. And it doesn't have to be 100%. You just have to show what you know. The author, the teacher, is going to know more. But how much have you gained? How much have you been able to internalize through all of this process? And so when we're looking at a problem in front of us, we have to look to the author, the one who went before us and showed us the example of how to get through this. He went through and he did it perfectly. Now, we need to recognize that we're not going to do it perfectly, but we have a great example of how to focus, how to follow along. And he doesn't expect perfection from us. The first time through, it's going to be the hardest because we've never done this before on our own. And so we need to keep looking back, keep looking towards the answer, keep looking towards the steps. And the trials that we get, the tests that we get are going to be different than the one that he showed us. But we have to follow the same steps to get to the end goal. Because we know the end goal is, yay, I made it, woo! And when you make it a lot, you start to feel really strong and confident. But you know it's a hard journey. And there's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of things you got to push past. And as I read this and I see it as a run and as a lesson that a teacher gives to a student, I see that it's not about perfection. It's not about just keep going, Maggie, come on. It's not like that at all. It's Maggie, use the steps you've learned. What do you know already? Where do you find your information from? let's look at that again. Okay, now, and by the time I'm to that point, I can almost quote it because I've done this before. Okay. So what can I pull into this situation? What can I apply to this situation? A really good teacher is going to have it applicable to you. So what can I apply to the situation I'm going through right now? What I've already learned, what God tells me to do. And you know what? If you do it that way, you're doing it the right way. So today, I felt very encouraged to take a run. But I have like a chest cold, so I won't be running physically, but running spiritually, absolutely. I'm feeling just recharged and rejuvenated, excited, optimistic about the future.